I would have brought samples, but not enough room in my bag, unfortunately. But I do have I do have a digital treat for you at the end, since it's digital tourism. But yeah, first of all, we don't do anything in Glasgow, so this will be interesting. Who's heard of us? Yeah, 2 people. Okay, amazing. Yeah, Scot Beer Tours. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and how the business got started, and then just touch on a couple of digital tourism things. So yeah, I'm Sarah. I used to manage a software company. It was acquired 2 years ago this month, actually. So I left when the acquisition went through and found myself with quite a lot of time on my hands. I organized an event as part of Startup Europe Week, which is next week, by the way, did a beer tasting at the end, because the bar gave us a venue for free, and none of the people there were beer drinkers, and they all had smiles on their faces at the end, and I thought, there's something here. And I thought, I'll keep myself out of trouble while I'm job hunting, looking for my next thing. I'll do beer tastings. And spent quite a lot of money on Twitter ads and all the rest of it trying to get people along. When we did sell tickets, we encountered a problem, which was people couldn't find the pub. So we started meeting them on the Royal Mile, because that's easy for people to find. And then I realized that I should probably have some chat for them on the walk from the Royal Mile to the pub. So did some research and discovered that there's an absolutely incredible story about brewing in Scotland that nobody talks about. So anybody in the room know that Scotland used to be the largest exporter of bottled beer in the world? Anybody know there used to be 25 breweries in the Canongate of Edinburgh, 50 in total? It's absolutely crazy how much was going on. So from there, we really just built it out, and now we tell the story of Edinburgh through beer, from the 1100s right up to today, and stop for tastings along the way from breweries all over Scotland. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we do. Guides are all local people. We don't have any full-time guides, because I'm sure you've all experienced that sensation of somebody delivering a script and they're really not engaging with the audience at all. So we use people who have something else going on in their lives. That means they come fresh with enthusiasm to every tour. Jenny's a home brewer and food scientist. Danny does social media for breweries. Amy is a forager, a professional forager. That is a job. So she forages for ingredients. Dan works in one of the craft beer bars in Edinburgh. Yeah, this area here down with the Scottish Parliament, in fact, where the Scottish Parliament is, used to be a brewery. And used to be headquarters of Scottish in Newcastle, which was the UK's largest brewery. But that whole area was filled with breweries. So that's the walking tour of the Charmed Circle. We also partner up with breweries. So brewers are great at brewing beer. Small breweries are not so great at being a tourism business. So we approached a few breweries and we said, look, we can handle all this side of things for you. So we do that as well. Something that's proved really popular as well is food and beer pairings. So everybody needs to eat, and so it's a nice thing that they can fit into the day. We've also piloted and will be launching this summer, it's yet to be named, but the Scot Beer Bus is the working title, which I've been told is great for a fun weekend trip, but we might not be able to attract the corporate crowd, which is really where the money's at. So yeah, we might need to switch it up a bit. But that's visiting 3 breweries in one afternoon, one night, because one of the problems is that it's really expensive to run a brewery in the city centre. So most of them are on the outskirts, but that's really inconvenient for visitors, especially when alcohol's involved, because transport isn't always good to industrial estates. So yeah, that's what we do. So using technology, I've always loved technology. I actually started off in banking and private equity before going into software, and the reason I moved into software because I just always found myself pulling my hair out that we weren't using software to do something. So when I worked in banking, we got SharePoint. SharePoint is awful, but I realized that it was an opportunity, bought a book on dummies on SharePoint, and spent the Christmas holidays basically building SharePoint to do my job for me. So then I went back and went to my boss and said, I don't have anything to do anymore. Can I do something more interesting? So always use technology to sort of make things better. So I took the same approach when it came to building this business. I thought I'd just go through a couple of points where it really comes into play. At its heart, it's a storytelling business, it's a people business. But to make all of that feel effortless and smooth and enjoyable, we use a lot of technology. So the first one is presence. So if you all take out your phone, this is a test to see if this actually works, and search for Brewery Tour Edinburgh. And what should happen is we should show up in the top 3, hopefully. And that's really about understanding, which I know that most of you will be really familiar with, understanding what the algorithms want you to do. And last summer, I didn't care about making any money, just focused on giving Google what they wanted, giving Facebook what they wanted, giving TripAdvisor what they wanted, so that we could rank, because then I don't have to pay to acquire customers. So it means that we outperform businesses that have tens of thousands of pounds marketing budget. Don't spend anything on marketing. Just understand the algorithm and literally have a checklist and do it. So if you upload a new photo to your Google My Business every week, Google likes you. If you, in TripAdvisor, responses to review are SEO indexed. So if you want to rank for terms, respond to reviews, they reward you for that anyway, but if you use the SEO terms, you get bumped up as well. So there's all these little things that just give you a slight advantage each time. Processes. So one of the nightmares about running something like a beer tour, 3 different venues, because I don't have any full-time guides, their availabilities are all different. The venues' opening hours are all different. Whether they take under 18s and when they take under 18s is all different. There's lots of variables. So I spent a long time trying to find the right booking system. Ended up choosing a US company and pestered them until they agreed to launch in the UK. So we had to sell in US dollars for the first few months, which wasn't, well, it was great for American customers, but not so much for UK customers. And that enables everyone who I work with goes in and maintains their calendar of availability. And then the tickets are automatically on sale or off sale, depending on whether we have enough resources to run the tour. So if the brewery cannot open one day, brewery tickets are off sale. Right now, Jenny has got her dissertation on, so she's marked as unavailable. So in a couple of weekends' time, we don't have any tours on sale because we don't have anyone to deliver them. So all of that's automated, which makes life much easier. The venues get automatic reminder emails, the staff get automatic reminder emails, as do the guests as well. What that enables us to do is destination leadership. So we are not just a tour company, it's about presenting Scotland as a brewcation destination, which means that then we can engage with Visit Scotland, Scottish Development International, Scottish Enterprise, Food and Drink Scotland, at a bigger level where we're starting to have that conversation around this is where the industry should be going. So the technology enables us to collaborate, it enables us to move faster and more efficiently, which enables us to grow quicker, which means that you can spend more time focusing on that side of things. It also means that internationally, you can work effortlessly with tour operators, travel agents, because they just plug into your system and book. There's no stress about emailing this person, phoning that person, and all that nonsense. What else? Agile. I think Agile methodology in any type of business is applicable. Every team member that comes in, I try to teach them as gently as possible about Agile methodology. So we test something, or come up with a theory about something, you know, that we think the customers will enjoy this. Okay, we'll try it, test it. Did it lead to increased conversion of TripAdvisor reviews versus how many guests? Yes, it did. Okay, let's keep doing it. Okay, it stopped working. Okay, let's try something else. So for example, with this, testing different ways of encouraging people to leave reviews after a tour. Groups don't leave reviews, but they're where all your profit is. And it's really frustrating because you'll have like 20 people come on a tour and none of them leave a review, and they've all got smiles on their faces. So now what I do is I get them all to do what you guys did, because they've been doing what you've been telling them to do for 2 hours. So I say, okay, everybody take out your phone, Google Scot Beer Tours, great, you found us, scroll down, tap 5 stars, and you'll get like 10, 15 reviews in one go. With groups that works, but if you did that on a private tour, you'd probably end up with 1-star reviews because the atmosphere is not right. So it's just about testing things, testing the product as well, different types of things. People use technology to empower people. I don't have an office. It means that a lot of the team are not originally from Scotland, so when they go home, they don't have to take holiday, they can keep working because everything is in the cloud. I also emphasize that everything has to be digital because having gone through an acquisition process as a company, if that conversation starts at some point, the quicker that you can produce files, processes, how things work in the business, data, the quicker you can produce that, the fewer reasons you're giving your buyer to discount your price. So it also means that you can sleep well at night because you know that if something happens to one of your team members, they need to take time off, or if they decide to leave the business, the way that they do everything is documented and you can hand it over to someone else. And finally, use technology to add value without adding cost. So if you're on Scot.beer, if you go to the maps page, you can pull up a map of Edinburgh and Glasgow beer venues that serve good Scottish beer. And if you tap the little frame button, it overlays it on top of your Google Maps. So you don't have to be in a separate app to navigate to stuff. Things like that, it doesn't cost us anything to do, but the natural question that people ask at the end of a tour is, where do we go next? And so it's a really easy way for us to add value. So yeah, those are some things. That's us on all the channels. That's one of the frustrating things. I had to rebrand to be able to have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook handles all the same, because I did try printing marketing material with 3 different ones, and it's not fun. Hashtag ScotBeer is more about the destination leadership side of things. So basically, whenever anybody's talking about Scottish beer in any way, we want to see that hashtag. Visit Scotland, have Scot Spirit to promote tourism to Scotland, and Scot Food for food, so Scot Beer felt like a natural one. And there we go. Little discount code for you guys. That will get you half price off any of our tours. So hopefully see you along in Edinburgh or in Glasgow when we launch. And happy to take any questions now, or if at the end is better.